American Eagles. American Eagle. The American Eagles are the athletics teams that represent the American University in National Collegiate Athletic Association and Co-Division I competition. American is a member of the Patriot League in all sports except wrestling, where it is a member of the Eastern Intercollegiate Wrestling Association. Many of the teams have gone on to win championships over the years, particularly their field hockey, volleyball, and wrestling teams. The team colors are red and blue. Early athletic directors. American University was founded in 1893, and the first building opened for classes in 1907. But it wasn't until the fall of 1925 that the university organized intercollegiate athletics. The university fielded both a men's and women's basketball team and a football team. George Springston was appointed athletic director, AD, and head coach of the men's basketball team and football team, fielding his first teams in October 1925. In February 1929, Springston resigned and Walter Young was named his replacement the same day. On October 16, 1931, a new football stadium called American University Field was opened. Young resigned as AD on January 30, 1937. He had signaled his intention to resign as AD and head coach of the football and basketball teams in the fall of 1937, but a serious automobile accident in late January prompted him to resign suddenly. On February 4, 1937, O announced the hiring of Gus Welch as its athletic director. Welch had been a football teammate of legendary player Jim Thorpe at Carlisle Indian Industrial School in Carlisle, Pennsylvania, where he was coached by the equally legendary Glenn Pop Warner. He had played 2 years of professional football with the Canton Bulldogs from 1915 to 1917 prior to his service in World War I. After the war, he was head football coach at Washington State University from 1919 to 1922, head football coach at Randolph-Macon College from 1923 to 1929, head football coach at the University of Virginia from 1930 to 1933, and AD and head football coach at Haskell Indian Nations University from 1933 to 1936. Welch proved to be highly popular, even though he had so few students he could barely field an 11-man football team. He told witty stories to the press and pulled stunt after stunt to try to get his football team to win. He once tried to play a female student as a place kicker, but referees wouldn't allow it. At least once, he dressed cheerleaders and other students in football uniforms and had them sit on the bench to fool opposing teams into thinking he had a bigger team and more depth than reported. Frustrated with the lack of football recruits, Welch resigned suddenly as coach and AD on December 6, 1938. The Castle era. Welch's assistant, Stafford H. Castle, was named Welch's successor as AD on February 27, 1939. Castle was a no-graduate who had played football, basketball, and baseball at the university in the early 1930s, and he was considered a star basketball player. He was named men's basketball coach in 1937. Because of the outbreak of World War II, O dropped football after the 1941 season. Subsequently, Castle resigned in March 1942 to become athletic director and head football coach at Morningside College in Iowa. He departed O in June. Don Cooper was named Castle's replacement as athletic director on May 23, 1942. He had previously been the assistant men's basketball and football coach and the head track coach of Beloit College in Wisconsin. But after less than a month in the job, Cooper stepped down to join the U.S. Army. Gustav Bernhard Gus Kalachorvi was named as athletic director on August 30, 1942. He had previously served as AD at St. Johnsbury Academy in Vermont. Kalachorvi left the university in 1944 to become the athletic director at Cheshire Academy in Connecticut. Due to the emergency caused by World War II and the limited sports schedule, he was not replaced until Stafford Castle returned to O as athletic director on January 3, 1946. During the interim, and during the years of Castle's second tenure, the O men's basketball team won the Mason-Dixon Conference Championship in 1945, 1946, 1950, and 1951. Castle resigned on March 10, 1952 to become an aide to new O president Hearst Robbins Anderson. The Fraley era. Castle was replaced in March 1952 by Hugo Dutch Schulz, a former captain of the O men's basketball team and an outstanding football and baseball player at the school in the 1930s. Schulz replaced Artie Boyd as men's head basketball coach, but he was only able to lead the team to a dismal 50-51 record. Schulz resigned on November 8, 1958. David L. Carrasco was named as new AD upon Schulz's retirement on November 8. He resigned in 1964. In 1965, O hired Robert Fraley as its new athletic director. Fraley became the university's longest-serving AD, retiring in 1987 after 22 years in the job. Fraley had previously served for 16 years as coach of the men's swim team and later coached the men's tennis, golf, and soccer teams. While AD, Fraley moved over from NCAA Division Roman to NCAA Division I and hired some of the best basketball coaches in the nation: Gary Williams, later head coach at the University of Maryland; Jim Lynam, later head coach of the Washington Bullets professional basketball team; Tom Davis, later head coach at the University of Iowa; Tom Young, later head coach at Rutgers University; Ed Tapscott, later an NBA executive for several teams; and Fran Dunphy, later coach at the University of Pennsylvania and Temple University. In 1979, Fraley named and co-founded the Colonial Athletic Association, the NCAA Division I league in which our teams now began to participate. As his career neared its end, Fraley pushed hard for construction of a new sports arena at American University to replace the Leonard Center, later named the Castle Center, which the university had purchased in 1946. The new facility, Bender Arena, opened in 1988. The swimming pool was named Fraley Pool in his honor. O'Donnell McElroy era. Joseph Fahrenheit. O'Donnell was appointed Fraley's successor on February 4, 1987. He was formerly an assistant athletic director at Wichita State University. O'Donnell served as AD until June 2, 1995. Ed Tapscott, was men's basketball coach since 1982, left the school in April 1990. In December 1991, Pete Maylett, men's head soccer coach who led the U.S. soccer team to a national championship, was fired by O'Donnell after clashing with him repeatedly. In November 1994, Benjamin Ladner became the new president of American University. O'Donnell resigned on June 2, 1995, after Ladner threatened to fire him. Barbara Riemann, associate athletic director, was appointed acting athletic director. On March 3, 1996, or announced that Dr. Lee McElroy would become the university's first African-American athletic director, and the first athletic director to have a doctorate. Dr. McElroy had served a single year as AD at the University of the District of Columbia before moving to Sacramento State University in 1989. During his tenure, McElroy hired Art Perry to be men's head basketball coach. But Perry was fired in March 2000, and President Ladner led the search for Perry's successor, usurping McElroy's role. Ladner also forced McElroy to switch his affiliation from the Colonial Athletic Association to the Patriot League. Allegedly frustrated by Ladner's interference, on July 5, 2000, McElroy announced he was resigning to become athletic director at the State University of New York at Albany. Transitional ads. From January 1, 2000 to March 31, 2007, American University had 5 athletic directors. 3 of them lasted less than 3 years, leading to instability and a loss of institutional memory in the athletic department. Dan Radakovich was named McElroy's successor on September 11, 2000. Radakovich had previously served as the chief financial officer of the athletic department at the University of South Carolina. Radakovich resigned after just 8 months on the job to become senior associate athletic director at Louisiana State University. In November 2001, Ladner hired Tom George, a 20-year veteran of sports industry marketing with Octagon, to be the university's new AD. George resigned effective July 31, 2003, to return to the sports marketing field. Although his tenure was short, George was able to win national television appearances for his women's volleyball and men's basketball teams, and major press coverage of the men's soccer and track and field teams. Dr. Joni Comstock became his first permanent female athletic director when she was hired on November 12, 2003. She had previously served as the athletic director at the University of North Carolina at Asheville since 2000 and had been an assistant athletic director and senior associate athletic director at Purdue University for 11 years before that. Comstock resigned on August 24, 2006 to take a position with the NCAA. Cohen-era ads. In November 2005, Dr. Neil Cohen became president of American University. Changes in the university's approach to athletics, made under his predecessor, Dr. Benjamin Ladner, began to bear fruit in championship teams and national press attention. Stability in the athletic director position also contributed to an enhanced athletic program at the university. After a nearly 7-month search, President Cohen hired Keith Gill as new athletic director on March 21, 2007. Gill had previously been assistant athletic director at Vanderbilt University for 2 years, director of membership services at the NCAA for 5 years, and senior associate athletic director at the University of Oklahoma for 4 years. O's athletic teams won 25 team championships and 16 individual championships during his tenure. The men's basketball team won the Patriot League title back-to-back in the 2007-2008 and 2008-2009 seasons. The men's cross-country, women's field hockey, and women's volleyball teams also won Patriot League championships. Gill resigned in December 2012 to become AD at the University of Richmond. On February 28, 2013, President Cohen announced that O had hired Dr. William Billy Walker to be the new athletic director. He joined the O staff on April 3, 2013. A graduate of the United States Air Force Academy USAFA, Walker was Deputy Director of Athletics and Professor and Head of the Physical Education Department at the Air Force Academy. Dr. Walker retired from the Air Force in July 2013 at the rank of Brigadier General, and awarded the Legion of Merit. During his first year as AD, the women's field hockey, women's volleyball, and men's basketball teams won Patriot League championships. The women's volleyball repeated as Patriot League champions in 2013-2014, and were joined by the women's basketball team. Teams: men's women's basketball, cross-country, soccer, field hockey, swimming and diving, lacrosse, track and field, /O soccer, wrestling, swimming and diving, track and field, /O volleyball. Conference history. American University's Intercollegiate Athletic Program did not begin until 1925, and for the first 11 years of the program's existence O was not a member of a formally organized athletic conference. O became a founding member in 1936 of the Mason-Dixon Conference, in which it participated until 1966. In 1966, O moved from NCAA Division Roman II to NCAA Division I and joined the Middle Atlantic Conference MAC effective September 1, 1966. In February 1974, O became a founding member of the East Coast Conference. The conference formed after several years of discussion by O and 11 other schools which played in the University Division of the MAC. In 1984, the Eastern College Athletic Conference ECC South voted to begin hosting championships in sports other than basketball. O agreed to join the ECC South in March 1984. The ECC South changed its name to the Colonial Athletic Association in June 1985. By 2000, the CAA was down to just 8 member schools. American university officials worried about the level of competition in the league, and the level of concern rose dramatically when the NCAA announced it was considering no longer extending automatic bids to the NCAA Men's Division I Basketball Championship for leagues with fewer than 8 members. Athletic Director Dr. Lee McElroy and President Benjamin Ladner began talks with the Patriot League, discussions which became more serious after the United States Naval Academy said it would join the Patriot League if O did. The Patriot League formally invited O to join the conference in mid-March 2000. But according to an anonymous source, nearly all of the coaches at O resisted the conference switch. The CAA allowed O to offer athletic scholarships in all sports, while the Patriot League only permitted this in basketball. They were also concerned that the level of play in the Patriot League was of much lower quality than in the CAA, and that attendance at O sporting events would drop significantly. More local colleges played in the CAA than in the Patriot League, which critics felt meant higher attendance. In response, the Patriot League allowed O to continue to offer athletic scholarships in all sports. About 50 student athletes at O led a public protest against the move on March 28. Many of O's top athletic stars vowed to transfer to another school if O changes conferences. On April 24, 2000, American University announced it would join the Patriot League beginning with the 2001-2002 season. O President Ladner decided to make the switch after judging the commitment to academics of the other Patriot League schools, most of which were private schools like O. In the CAA, only one other school was private. Another factor was the makeup of O's student body, 30% of which came from the geographic area covered by the Patriot League. Only 5% of O's student body came from geographic areas covered by the CAA. This would enhance O's non-athletic fundraising and recruitment, Ladner felt. O officials also felt the Patriot League was more stable than the CAA, which had seen high turnover in membership over the past few years. The Eagles continued to play in the Patriot League, with the exception of the O wrestling team. Although O's wrestling program had a long history, by 2001 the program was in deep trouble. The team had a long losing streak in NCAA competition, and President Ladner considered closing the program. Instead, Ladner agreed to infuse the program with a significant amount of new funding and make O into a national wrestling powerhouse. Since the Patriot League did not offer wrestling as a sport, O's wrestling team affiliated with the Eastern Intercollegiate Wrestling Association, the nation's oldest wrestling conference, beginning with the 2002-2003 season. The wrestling program was helped after O closed its men's and women's tennis and golf programs at the end of the 2004-2005 academic year, and in 2007 midget junior Josh Glenn won the 197-pound title at the NCAA Division A Wrestling Championships. Glen became O's first national champion in any sport since 1966, and the school's first since it moved to NCAA Division I. Glen also became O's first two-time All-American. Sports facilities. American University has several sports facilities, including Bender Arena, which houses the William I. Jacobs Fitness Center, 25-yard, 8-lane pool, the Reeves Aquatic Center, a 6-store mini-mall, the Campus Bookstore, and a 470-car, 7-level parking structure. Bender Arena is also the home of O's basketball team and O's nationally ranked wrestling team. Reeves Field, home to O's soccer team, is one of the premier soccer fields in Washington. Reeves Field earned the 2002 College Soccer Field of the Year by the Sports Turf Managers Association, hosted its 5th NCAA tournament game, and served as the training site for the Uruguayan national soccer team. SC Barcelona and Blackburn used Reeves Field as a training facility. In the summer of 2000, O served as the practice site for Newcastle United, one of England's premier professional soccer clubs. Major League Soccer's District of Columbia United, Miami Fusion and San Jose Earthquakes have also practiced at O. National teams from the United States, Bolivia and Portugal trained at Reeves in 1996 in preparation for Summer Olympic Games held at RFK Stadium. Reeves Field also features Greenberg Track. It is a 6-lane track used to accommodate the track and field programs at O. During his term as Vice President, George H.W. Bush regularly traveled in the morning from his home at the U.S. Naval Observatory, located about 2 miles from American University, to run the track at Reeves Field. O's field hockey and women's lacrosse teams play on the field at the William I. Jacobs Recreational Complex, which also features a softball diamond and 2 outdoor sand volleyball courts. O's field hockey team earned the right to host the 2005 Patriot League tournament, where American defeated La University 7-0 in the semifinals before capturing the league crown for the 3rd straight year by downing Holy Cross 4-2 in the championship game. American University features 7 outdoor tennis courts for the use of the intercollegiate tennis teams as well as the university community. 2 outdoor basketball courts complete the outdoor recreational facility located next to Reeves Field and behind Bender Arena. O has hosted 3 of the last 4 tennis team championships since joining the Patriot League, with the men's team winning back-to-back titles on the O hard course and setting Patriot League championship attendance records each year. The women's team last captured the Patriot League title in 2002. Bender Arena is also the home to the O volleyball team, which is coached by Barry Goldberg. Hall of Fame. In 1969, American University established an Athletics Hall of Fame and named it the Stafford H. Castle Hall of Fame in honor of the school's late football coach, athletic director, and vice president. Notable athletes. Kermit Washington, men's basketball also an All-American Brian Gilges, men's basketball Andre Ingram, men's basketball, played 6 games for the Los Angeles Lakers after several years in the NBA G League. Howard Lass, 1955-2013, American-Israeli basketball player.